everybody! My name is Miss Ann and I'm a children's librarian at the North Central Branch Library of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. And I've got a fun STEM activity to share with you today. This activity is called X Marks the Spot, Graphing Hidden Pictures. To do this activity, you will need something to write with. I'm using a purple crayon and a blue crayon to give my picture contrast, but if you want to use pencils, pens, markers, whatever is fine. You also need a ruler. The ruler that I happen to have at home is a triangular ruler, but you can use a straight one if that's all you have. That's fine. And then you'll need a piece of paper. I'm using yellow construction paper just to make it colorful, but you can use any kind of paper that you want that does not have lines on it. It has to be a blank sheet of paper. So what I'm showing to you now is called a graph. And we're going to make a graph to create a hidden picture. Now all graphs have an x-axis and a y-axis. The x-axis goes horizontal and the y-axis goes vertical. And you'll see each line is assigned a number. And in the very corner of the graph is the number 0. And the numbers get bigger as they move away from that corner. And you'll see there's a dot there too. Now that dot corresponds with numbers. So we're going to make a graph like the one I just showed you. So you're going to take your paper and whatever you're going to use to write with, and you're going to make your y-axis, or that vertical line, down. And then you're going to make your x-axis, that horizontal line across the bottom of your paper. And it's going to make a giant L. So when you're done, you should have a giant L on your paper. So I'm going to switch colors just to give a little contrast between the edge of my graph and the actual lines on my graph. And to make the lines on my graph, I'm going to start each line from a dot on the edge of the graph. And I'm making my dots 1 inch apart. If you want to make your dots further apart, you can. Smaller, or not as much apart. If you want to do 1/2 inch, that's fine. But I'm doing 1 inch apart just to keep things simple. So I'm going to do that on the x-axis too. I've already done that on the y-axis. So that's what it's going to look like after you get started. But you're going to want to make those dots all the way up your y-axis and all the way across your x-axis. The more lines you have, the more you'll be able to do with your picture that you're going to make. So I went all the way up my y-axis, and now I'm going across my x-axis. All right. Yep, so we've got dots all the way across. So now you're going to number your dots. And this is going to be helpful when making your picture later. So remember, 0 is in the corner, and each number 1 dot away from 0 goes up. So we start with 1 at the bottom, and then we go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's the same with the x-axis. So we've got 9 dots on our y-axis and 6 dots on our x-axis. So now it's time to make our lines. So first I'm going to make my lines going across. I'm just going to start at the dot and use the ruler to make the lines as straight as I can. They're not going to be perfectly straight, but just do the best that you can. You want to pull that line all the way across your paper. So there are my horizontal lines. And now I'm making my vertical lines. All right. So now you have made your graph. And you're ready to make your hidden picture, but first, let's see what the hidden picture was on that piece of paper I already showed you. Now, I don't even know what this hidden picture is going to be. And to make the hidden picture, you have to pick, these are called coordinates. So they are a pair of numbers that's going to tell you where to put dots. So that first pair of numbers was 5, 3. And we saw that on the bottom, you went over 5, and at the top, you went over 3. So that first number is how many dots you need to go over on the x-axis, and that second number is how many dots you need to go over on the y-axis. So underneath that first coordinate of 5, 3, there was another coordinate, and I'm trying to figure that out right now, where that dot's supposed to go. Okay, so that second coordinate was 7, 9. So I went over 7 on the x-axis, and I went up 9 on the y-axis and put a dot where those two lines meet. And after you put your dot on, you want to connect the dots. So I connected the dot that meets at 5, 3 with the dot that meets at 7, 9. So now we're going to make a dot at 2, 13. So I'm going to go over 2 on the x-axis and then up 13 on the y-axis and make my dot. So the dot is where those 2 points meet, where the 2 and the 13 meet. And I've made my second line. So now I'm going to make dots that match all of those coordinates that are listed there. And I'm going to connect those dots. Okay, so in the end, you see that the picture that was hidden was a star. I had no idea. So that's cool. So now you can take the graph that you made and you can make a hidden picture. So you want to come up with coordinates where your dots go.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.